Good morning. This is your Stat Sensei, Mr. Spensei, and this is Geometric Quiz and Binomial Distribution Solutions. So, at a busy airport, 55% of passengers are randomly selected for additional security screenings. The selection process is independent and the percentage remains constant. A sample of 60 passengers was selected to analyze this behavior. Additionally, security wants to track when the first passenger selected for additional screening is found in sequential monitoring. So it looks like we have a probability of 0.55 and a sample size of 60. So the first question is, what is the probability that the first passenger, there's my keyword first, selected for additional screening is found among the first four? So this sounds like this is going to be a geometric. So I'm going to approach it this way. I'm going to make a number line, and geometric number lines start at 1. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, dot, 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 all the way to infinity. But I'm only interested in the among part, and among would mean this group right here. So if I'm making my probability statement, it'd be the probability that 1 is less than or equal to X is less than or equal to 4. So when I go to my calculator, because it's a multiple, I'm going to have to use the summation button. And to get to there, I have to press math. So math, summation, X button. My low number is 1. My high number is 4. Second vars, geometric, PDF, 0.55, and X. Make sure that's an X. Anytime you use a summation, it needs to be an X. So right there, I have my paste feature. So I'm going to copy that over. So with my paste feature, I have 4. This is X equals 1. So 1 to 4 for my counter. Geomet, PDF, 0.55, comma, X. All right, press enter a couple times, and there's my answer, 0.9589. Now, what I didn't do is I did not put my plug. My plug is going to be placing back into the equation. Let me get the equation over here so we can take a look at it. In choose X, but we know we have to have a summation. Summation, well, in this case, it's 1 minus 0.55, X to the minus 1. Well, our X value in this case is 4. Oh, we have to start, I'm sorry, we have to start with our lowest value. Our lowest value is 1, and then 0.55 to the first, plus dot, 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 plus 1 minus 0.55, 4 minus 1 times 0.55 to the first. All right, so we started with our lowest value of 1 that went here, and then our highest value of 4 went here. So that's the first one. Number 2, what's the probability that 30 passengers are selected for additional screening? So we want exactly 30 out of our group of 60. So my number line, this is a binomial. Binomials start at 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, dot, dot, dot. We want 30, dot, dot, dot. And this goes all the way to 60. But I'm only looking for this single value. So my probability statement is the probability that X equals 30. So second vars, binomial, PDF, trials was 60, P is 0.55, X is 30. There's my paste feature, so I need to copy this down. And this simply binom, PDF, 60, 0.55, and 30. Notice there's no X, and the reason there's no X is because we didn't use the summation. We only have an X when we're using the summation. All right, I press enter a couple times, and I end up getting 0.0758. We can stop right there at 0.758. All right, I need to plug into my formula. So I need my binomial formula, which is n choose x. So in this case, 60 choose 30, 0.55 to the 30th power, 1 minus 0.55 to the 50 minus 30. And that's my work shown for that one. All right. Okay, moving on. Looking at number 3. What is the probability that the first passenger selected for additional screening is found on the second passenger? So we're looking at specifically the second passenger. And the key word there is first. So since we're talking about first, this lets me know it's a geometric. So in this case, my number line will start at 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, goes to infinity. But actually, all we're interested in is the second passenger, passenger number 2. So our probability statement is the probability that x equals 2. So let's go ahead and run that geometric. So second vars, geometric, PDF, probability is 0.55, our x value is 2, and we end up getting 0.2475. Oh, and I also need to write down my paste. My paste is still up there. Geomet, PDF, 0.55, comma 2, and the answer is 0.2475. All right, we need to show our work or show our plug. Our plug in this case is 1 minus p to the x minus 1. That's my formula. So 1 minus the 0.55 to the 2 minus 1 times 0.55 to the first. So that takes care of that. All right, moving on, looking at number 4. Number 4, what is the probability that the first passenger selected for additional screening is not found until after the 6th? So our key word there is first, but we're looking for after the 6th. So as soon as I finish folding this piece of paper, we'll get to it. There we go. Well, that's not very good. I'll have to do. So my number line. My number line is going to start, okay, this is a geometric, and geometric start at 1. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, dot, dot, dot to infinity. So I'm circling 7 to infinity. But my calculator doesn't have an infinity. So in this case, we always have to do the 1 minus. So anytime we circle infinity, we're going to do the 1 minus the probability that our lowest value not circled in this case. All right, this is where it gets a little weird because we have to go below the circle. So 1 minus the probability that 1 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 6. So we took the lowest value not circled, which was 1, and the highest value not circled, which was 6, because we're subtracting out what we don't want. All right, so in this case, we're going to go to the calculator, and we're going to go 1 minus, go to the math button, drop down to summation, x equals 1, and then we're going up to 6, second vars, geometric PDF, 0.55, but our x value, because we use the summation, anytime you use the summation, this is an x. And we press enter, and now we have a whole lot to fit into that paste area. So 1 minus x equals 1 to 6 geomet PDF 0.55x. All right. So that takes care of that. I'm going to press enter and get my answer. My answer happens to be 0.0083. Then I need to show my work, which is going to be a 1 minus, because that's what we have. We use a bracket here. All right. And now I need to refer back to my formula. All right. And our formula is this. So 1 minus our 0.55. And this is 1 minus 1, 0.55 to the first, because that's our smallest one. That's where we use the 1, plus dot, 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 plus 1 minus 0.55, 6 minus 1, that's our highest value, times the 0.55, and then close our parentheses. Okay? All right. Looking at number 5. What is the probability, what is the probability that at least 35 passengers are selected for additional screening? So at least 35. So we're selecting 35. We're not looking for the first one. So this tells me this is a binomial. So 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, dot, 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 34, 35, dot, 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 all the way to 60. So we want at least 35. So we're looking for this group right here. So the probability that 35 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 60. So let's go to our calculator. And it's multiple values, so we're going to be using the summation button. Math, summation, x, 35, 60, second vars, binomial PDF, trials is 60, p is 0.55, and anytime we use a summation, we need to use the x button. So 60 over the summation of x equals 35, binom PDF 60.55 x, and our answer is 0.3500. Plugging in, well, we need our formula for that. So n choose x. So in this case, our lowest value was 35. So 60 choose 35, 0.55 to the 35th, 1 minus 0.35 to the 60 minus 35, plus dot, 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 plus 60 choose 60, 0.55 to the 60th, 1 minus point, that should have been a 0.55, excuse me. 1 minus 0.55 to the 60 minus 60. All right, number 6. What's the probability that no more than 32 are selected for additional screening? All right, so we're looking for 32 passengers, but that's a max of 32. So this tells me that since we're looking for 32, we're not looking for the first. We're not looking for the 1. We're not looking for the first. This tells me this is a binomial. So binomials start at 0, 0, 1, dot, 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 all the way to 32, dot, 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 to 60. So I'm looking for this group right here. My probability statement is the probability that 0 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 32. So we're going to run that through the calculator. Once again, this is going to be a binomial, and it's going to be a summation. So math summation, x is 0 to 32, second vars, binomial PDF, trials of 60, p is 0.55, x is x. There's our paste. So 32 sigma x equals 0. Binom PDF 60.55 x. Press enter a couple times, and we end up getting 0.4467. All right, plugging in. That's back to using our binomial formula. Our binomial formula is this. So when I plug in, we have our sample size of 60, our lower value of 0. So 0.55 to the 0 times 1 minus 0.55 to the 60 minus 0 plus dot 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 plus 60 choose 32.55 to the 32nd times 1 minus 0.55 to the 60 minus 32. All right. Number 7. What's the probability that the first passenger selected for additional screening is the 5th passenger? So first, and we're looking for a specific value. So the first tells me it's a geometric. We're looking for the specific value, but the geometric all starts at 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, dot, 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 to infinity. We're looking for that value. So my probability statement is simply probability that x equals 5. All right. So when I go to plug that into the calculator, that's second vars, geometric PDF. I do not need the summation because it's a single value, 0.55, and x in this case is 5. That's what we said there. And we get that for our calculator work. So geomet PDF 0.55 comma 5. Press enter, and we get 0.0225. And our geometric formula is 1 minus p to the x minus 1. So in this case, 1 minus 0.55 to the x was 5. 5 minus 1 times 0.55 to the first power. All right, so that's our first 7. Now to the back side. So number 8. Number 8 says, what is the probability that all 60 passengers are selected for additional screening? What is the probability that all 60 passengers are selected for screening? Well, that's not a geometric because they didn't ask about the first. All right. So this is a binomial, and binomial number lines start at 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, dot, 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 all the way to 60, and we're actually looking for 60. So our probability statement is the probability that x equals 60 in this case. So we're going to go on the calculator and go second vars, binomial, PDF, trials, 60, p, 0.55, and x also happens to be 60. Notice I did not have to put summation in this case. All right, so there's my work on the calculator. So we have binom PDF 60 comma 55 comma 60. And we end up getting something to the negative 16th. As soon as this value becomes 5 or larger, we can just say, hey, that probability is 0. So we're going to put a little approximately there because it's approximately 0. This would have 15 zeros in front. That's really, really close to 0. All right. So this needs to be a binomial. So we're going to write down our binomial formula, which in this case is 60, choose 60, 0.55 to the 60th power times 1 minus 0.55 to the 60 minus 60. Okay, number 9. What is the probability that between 25 and 40 passengers, so we're looking for more than one, so it's not the first, it's a group. So this is a binomial. So my number line starts at 1, 1, 2, 3, dot, 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 25, dot, 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 40, dot, dot, all the way to 60. I'm looking for this group right here. So the probability that 25 is less than or equal to X is less than or equal to 40. All right, I have multiple values, so I'm going to have to go to summation. So I'm going to press the math button, drop down to summation, press enter, get to X. My lower value is 25. My upper value is 40. Second vars, binomial PDF. Trials is 60. P is 0.55. X value, I have to change that X value to an X. Anytime you have a summation, you have to use the X. So there's my work. There's my calculator input. My calculator input is 40 with the summation sign because that's my counter. X equals 25. So this tells me I'm going from 25 to 40. This is a binom PDF 60, comma 55. Choose X. All right. Press enter. And we get 0.9615. Showing our work, it's going to be a binomial, which is in choose X, which in this case is 60, choose 25, 0.55 to the 25th, 1 minus 0.55 to the 60 minus 25, plus dot, 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 plus 60, choose 60, 0.55 to the 60th power, or excuse me, to the 40th power. This should have been a 40 because we only went to 40 right here. Sorry about that. To the 40th times 1 minus 0.55 to the 60 minus 40. All right, number 10. What is the probability that fewer than 30 passengers are selected? Once again, we're not looking for the first, so this tells me it's a binomial. So we're starting at 0 because all binomials start at 0. By the way, I didn't do that on this previous one. I need to go back and fix these. All binomials start at 0. All right. Please make sure you're starting your binomials at 0. I hope I didn't do that more than what I just showed. I don't think so. So, but yeah, the binomials all start at 0. I don't know what I was thinking that I didn't write that down. So binomials start at 0. So number 10, fewer than 30 for additional screening. So starting at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, dot, 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 up to 30, dot, 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 60. Or fewer than 30 is at 29. So this is actually going to 29. So 0 less than or equal to X less than or equal to 29 because I have to be less than 30. So we have multiple values, so it's going to be a summation one. So math, summation, X is 0, 20, 29. Second vars, binomial PDF, trials is 60, 0.55, X, everything's good there. And we have the summation, 29, summation, X equals 0, binom, PDF, 60, comma, 55, comma, X. And we have 0.1817. All right, when we go to plug in, so we're looking for a binomial, so it's n choose x, which in this case, 60 choose 0, 0.55 to the 0, 1 minus 0.55 to the 60 minus 0, plus dot, 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 plus 60, choose our highest value was 29 because it was less than 30, 0.55 to the 29th, 1 minus 0.55 to the 60 minus 29. All right, number 11. What is the probability that the first passenger, so this looking for the first, so probably a geometric for additional, is found on or before the 10th? So my number line geometrics actually do start at 1, 1, 2, 3, dot, 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 10, dot, 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 infinity, and they go to infinity. So my probability statement, the probability that 1 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 10. So I'm going to need to use the summation button because I have multiple values circled. So math, summation, x is 1 to 10, second vars, geometric PDF, p is 0.55, x value, whenever we use summation, the x value has to be x. Try that again, x. There's my paste. A little blurry. Oh well. So 10 summation x equals 1, geomet PDF 0.55 x. All right. Oh, press enter. And 0.9996 showing our work being a geometric. It's going to be our low value, which happened to be 1, 1 minus 0.55 to the x minus 1, so 1 minus 1 times 0.55 plus dot, 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 plus 1 minus 0.55 to the 10 minus 1, because that was our highest value, times 0.55 to the first. All right. So moving on to number 12. What is the probability the first passenger selected for additional screening is found after the 8th? All right. So we're looking for the first, so that tells me it's a geometric. 1, 2, 3, 4, dot, 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 7, 8, 9, dot, 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 all the way to infinity. But it says after the 8th. That means 9 to infinity. Boy, I wasn't showing that. Sorry about that. So this is what I'm looking for. 9 to infinity. Well, I don't have an infinity button, so I'm actually going to have to pay attention to these numbers. So I'm going to have to do a 1 minus and subtract out what I don't want, which is everything below the 9. So 1 minus the probability that 1 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 9, or less than or equal to 8, excuse me. So that's what I'm going to have to subtract out. So we're going to have to use summation, and we're going to have to do the 1 minus. So 1 minus second, 1 minus, excuse me, 1 minus, I need to go to summation, which is math. X is equal to 1 to 10, or excuse me, to 8, because 8 was the highest value we had. Second vars, geometric PDF, 0.55 in X. So I have 1 minus the summation, X equals 1 to 8, geomet, PDF, 0.55, comma, X. Press enter, and I get 0.0016. All right, got to show my work. This is the one I have to use the brackets for. So 1 minus the brackets. Then I just basically go to my formula and start plugging in. So my formula says 1 minus the 0.55. My lowest value is 1. So 1 minus 1 times 0.55 plus dot, 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 plus 1 minus 0.55 to the 8 minus 1 times 0.55 to the first. Close the brackets. All right, getting close to the end. So, number 13, lucky 13. Number 13 says, calculate the mean and standard deviation for the number of passengers selected for additional screening. So they want the mean and standard deviation for the number, not for the first. So since it's for the number, this tells me it's a binomial. So let's look at my formula. The mean formula, or the expected value formula, is the expected value has NP. The standard deviation, I'm going to write this down too while I'm over here. Standard deviation formula is the square root of N times P times 1 minus P. All right. Well, that N, what we said earlier, was 60. So this is 60 times 0.55. So 60 times 0.55, and we get 33. So our answer was 33 passengers. All right. And over here, it's the square root of, again, our sample size was 60, or our number of trials was 60, times 0.55 times 1 minus 0.55, all under the radical, despite my drawing of it. So when I do that, 60, parenthesis 0.55, close parenthesis, open them again, 1 minus 0.55, close parenthesis. That way I have what they have. I'll deal with the radical in a moment. There are other ways to deal with it than I do, but I'll just press enter. Then I'm going to use this little caret button down here and raise it to the half power. And that gives me, so I have the square root of 14.85 equals 3.8535. All right. And that's also passengers, 3.8535 passengers. The next one, number 14, what is the mean and standard deviation For the number of passengers surveyed to find the first passenger selected for additional screening. We're looking for the first. So this tells me, oh, we're going to be working with the geometric. Well, the geometric has a different formula for the mean or expected value. So the expected value here formula is 1 over p, and the standard deviation formula is the square root of 1 minus p over p. So this means this is just 1 over 0.55. So let's go ahead and do that. So 1 divided by 0.55. So we're going to have to screen on average 1.818 people. So our expected value is 1.8181 people. When I go to the standard deviation, I'm going to plug in again, and I'm going to go 1 minus 0.55 over 0.55. And if I go 1 minus 0.55, I get 0.45. I'm going to go ahead and take the square root of that. So the square root of 0.455, I do that right by raising it to the half power using this button here, caret 0.5. Now I have to divide it by 0.55. And I end up getting the standard deviation is 1.2196. 1.2196. All right. I hope that helps. Hope you'll study. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.